Hi people, it's me Anja, my pronouns all she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. The quality of the books that I've read lately in May has been awesome. However, the quantity has not been as fruitful as I was really expecting, if I'm being completely honest. But anyway, the first book on this list is called The Summer I Remembered Everything. This story is a YA contemporary following an Asian Latina biracial main character who becomes the mentee to a lovely, eccentric, elderly woman in order to escape from her overbearing family for the summer, if that makes any sense. This book was so good, and I really enjoyed it. I had really high expectations for this book, as per usual, because I enjoyed a book previously by this author about 2 years ago, I think, or maybe it was last year. I can't quite remember, but basically this book was on my April TBR, and I thought it was so good and so splendid. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. I loved her relationship with the elderly woman so much. The plot is so intriguing. I love the mystery and even the family dynamics. Everything about this book made so much sense. I just really enjoyed it. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Singular Life of Aria Patel. This book is a YA science fiction contemporary because it follows a young main character who's basically falling through different multiverses of herself, different universes, and it's just so interesting and so fascinating. And I also really enjoy the second chance romance because I think it's so well developed and so cute, and I truly fell in love with the characters, the dynamics, and the universe, and the science fiction elements, and the plot, and the mystery, and everything about it. This book is absolutely so fantastic and so good. I really enjoyed, my experience reading it from the beginning to the end. I was a bit hesitant prior to reading this book, just because stories in general that are more science fiction, typically I have a harder time understanding what's happening, but this book, was so good, and it was so atmospheric. And basically, I just really enjoyed it. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. And I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Summer Girls. This book is a YA sapphic contemporary following 2 bisexual main characters who are both from different sides of the tracks, and they are navigating falling in love. I really enjoyed this book a lot because I felt like the 2 main characters are both so well developed and so distinct. And I loved, the different ways in which their emotions and motivations made sense, even if sometimes they were against each other. Does that make any sense? Their dynamic of, enemies to lovers made sense from both sides, because historically, I've not enjoyed enemies to lovers, because typically the reasons as to why the characters are enemies seem so petty and immature. But in this book, everything about their dynamic, romantically and platonically, and all of their history made so much sense for both of their characters and their financial backgrounds, and literally every single element. It was so good. So anyway, with that said, I loved the romance and the plot and the setting and everything about it. So basically, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called One of the Boys. This story is a YA contemporary following a transgender lesbian on the boys' football team at her high school. This book is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. First of all, I loved the characters. I loved the queer cast. I think the trans representation matched with the lesbian representation. It was so good. The sapphic romance is so cute and so well paced. I loved the characters and the family dynamics and everything. This book is so good. I love books that discuss queerness in not exactly a red town, but in a small town. I know there's a stereotype that small towns are more red in the United States, but they're not always necessarily like that, and you can't always stereotype them and generalize red states or whatever. But anyway, this book was so good, and I really enjoyed the dynamics and the plot and the writing and everything. This book was excellent. I think it's so important and so timely to read stories about transgender people, especially now, but like just in general. But anyway, this book was so good, and I just really, really enjoyed it so much. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Learning to Fall. This story is a YA contemporary following a British sapphic main character who's learning about like her confidence and her sexuality through roller derby. And lately I've read maybe like 5 books about roller derby lately, and I just learn more and more about the sport each and every day. And honestly, like the idea of combat sports in general aren't really intriguing to me, and roller derby is like the top of that non-intriguing list. But anyway, I love learning about the sport itself and the dynamics and the team and like the core found family and like the queerness of the cast felt so normalized and so well done. I even enjoyed how the sapphic romance developed over time, and I loved the character's relationship with her family, and she felt like a real teenager as well. So I love the plot and the sapphic representation, and everything about this book is so good and it's so well done. I think this book is marketed for fans of Heartstopper simply because it has a British setting. So anyway, with that in mind, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called Get Real Chloe Torres. This story is a YA contemporary following a young bisexual main character who's trying to reunite her estranged childhood best friends on a cross-country road trip to see their favorite boy band have a reunion. This book is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. I honestly really, really enjoyed it because it felt so wholesome and just so awesome and fantastic. I love stories that are about like rekindling a friendship from your childhood, and I love the friendship between the 3 of them. The characters are so well developed and so distinct, and I love how historically these stories are so queer normative. I think I've read all of the author's previous books, and I can't quite remember if they've all been queer in the past. I know for sure this book and Wit Revilla are both queer, but I can't remember if Fat Chance Charlie Vega featured a queer main character. But anyway, this book was so good. I loved the characters and the friendship and the sapphic romance and the plot and the family dynamics, and everything about it was so good and so wholesome and lighthearted. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. So in conclusion, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, May has been quite a steady reading month. I think I've read 22 books this month, and it's May 20th, so I've read less than I was hoping to by this time, but it's still solid because it could be worse. But anyway, in conclusion, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate. Give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the flamingo emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!